também outros que passaram a vir ao nosso encontro.
This is so exciting and fun for me to have all of you here, so thank you all. You have traveled from far and wide to be here, and it's just really, truly a blessing to have Dr. Ken and Barry and Rudy here with us.
So it's been quite a journey to get to where we are today. This has been in the works since before COVID.
So the way I found out about the Shroud was, I went to Mass on Sunday, like, Catholics do. And they said, this lady, Miss Nora Creech, she's going to come and she's going to give a talk about the Shroud of Turin. And so we went, and she began describing not only the Shroud, but she started going into depth about how Christ really suffered in his passion and how that suffering and sacrifice and love is reflected in the Shroud. And I just remember my jaw being on the floor the entire time.
When I got involved with the exhibit, one of the things we decided we needed to do was raise awareness around the city of Houston about the Shroud. So starting back in about 2019, I started giving lectures all over Houston. And always after you give a talk, there's usually a long line of people that want to come up and ask questions or follow up. And I gave a talk at St. Faustina, and there was a long line of people, and I stayed and talked to all of them, and there was one person who was hanging back on the side, and I looked over, and it was Andrea, and I could tell she wanted to talk to me, but she was shy. And so I said, come on over and let's talk. And so she told me she really was interested in the Shroud. She wanted to learn more. And I said, well, if you really want to learn more, I'm putting together this team, and we're working on developing this exhibit, and I'd love to have you be a part of that team, because the whole point of this is to share with the younger generation about the Shroud. And so she said yes, and she brought along with her, not only did she come, but she brought her mother and her grandmother. So we have this intergenerational family that's learning about the Shroud and then sharing about the Shroud.
So welcome to the exhibit of the most famous burial of all time. A big question a lot of people have is they look at the Shroud and the image is very faint. And so it's kind of hard to understand what is happening when there's not someone pointing it out. And so the photo negative image really helps in explaining that.
I think there wasn't anything stopping me from going. Desire-wise. I've always wanted to go to World Youth Day, especially because JP2 is my favorite saint, and he founded World Youth Day, and so to me that was a really big deal. But it really came down to money. I signed up for the meetings, and I was like, wow, this is really cool, but it was just a lot of money.
The museum has decided to sponsor Andrea to go to World Youth Day. And so the museum is sponsoring her because now we have this beautiful Shroud exhibit, and so we're also going to have speakers at World Youth Day, and so Andrea will help to bridge the gap. So she'll be a young person sharing about the Shroud and being a participant in World Youth Day.
And so that just facilitated everything and helping me go on this trip.
We are finally at the talk for the Shroud of Turin, and it's so surreal because we've been prepping for this for almost a year, and we're finally here. It's just crazy. I hope that in meditating on the Passion of Christ and on the Shroud, it can really help people make that connection and realize, wow, Jesus really did die on the cross for us, and he loved us that much.
1, 2, 3.
Up Mount Zion, in the upper room on Thursday night, remember he's celebrating the Last Supper? And if you remember, this is what he says, "This is my body which is given up for you." And he takes this cup and says, "This is the cup of my blood, the cup of the new and everlasting covenant. It is poured out for the forgiveness of sins." And so that language of pouring out is priestly language, it's sacrificial language. A libation is poured out by the priest.
And I think it's a message that especially young people need to hear, because it's not a typical way of evangelization, and I think it's a creative one, and I think it's an effective one. I think it reaches people in ways that is new, and especially with the onslaught of scientism and this idea that science somehow militates against our faith. I think to equip our young people with means to ward off those errors is worthy.
The Shroud is like the perfect combination of like faith and reason, and so I love it because now when you get to talk to young people and they're questioning, is God even real? Was science it? Is that it for us? And so you get to be like, hey, welcome to the Shroud, and then a lot of people's eyes are open, and then they get like their love for the faith gets reignited, and it's beautiful. So what do you think is next for the Shroud?
What do I think is next?
So
what's the next worldview thing? Do you know, I think we're in a great place. I know that's, I want to pause just on that question just to say, even if there is no next step, where we are right now is we have an opportunity to share right with what we've got. I'm looking forward to the future day. Maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's in 20 years, maybe it's in 100 or 1,000. To retest the Shroud. Great, awesome if that happens, but if not, we don't have to wait, and we don't have to be ashamed of what we've got, because what we've got is great.
Yes.
So share the science, share the faith, because we're commanded to do so, but if not, also because it's awesome to do it, it's gratifying to do it, and it brings joy and truth into the world, and that's a worthy cause every time.
Yes.
Going to World Youth Day made me realize that I'm like part of a larger whole. Like, it's not just about me, my faith, my worldview, but being around so many different people, it was like so eye-opening to see like the world is not so big. It's small, and we're all connected in that way. And so it made me realize that I'm not alone. And so, yes, like I'm a daughter of God, but there's so many other people there too, so.